All right. Get started the Hideaway Hills Management Meeting as of December 14th, 2021. We are going without video tonight.
Sorry. We apologize.
We're going without video tonight. We're having some technical difficulties, so it'll just be recorded, no video. It is my last meeting as chairman and management committee. It's been a good 6 years. Move on, leaving the committee in good hands with 4 of the existing gentlemen and 1 new member that will be announced soon.
Thank you. Appreciate all you've done, Jim.
It's not your last.
What? My last
Dave,
meeting.
we voted on this.
Yeah, no.
It's not.
I told him you wouldn't get his
Anyway.
retirement if he didn't show up the last one.
We'll just cancel that meeting. Jeff, you want to walk us through the numbers?
Absolutely. Capital fund total, we've got 438,897, and then depreciation fund total balance is $477,003.
Okay. Any questions on that? Someday we'll buy a mower,
Someday we'll buy 2.
buy 2 mowers or something.
Rex.
Jane.
Okay. Well, it was Rex last time. That's why I wondered. I'll make sure you got back with us.
Yeah, Rex, you're out there, aren't you?
Yes, I think so.
Are you? I think it comes up as Jane, but that's okay. Oh, no, you are.
Oh,
No, you're Rex. All right.
okay, good.
Request for expenditures. Silt trap engineering study, round 2. Rex, and we have Sue Pyle here to discuss that also.
So, okay, I've been a little confused on this. So we've got one silt trap study that was, and Sue, I probably ought to let Sue talk about this, but one was to be funded out of 2021 amenity. And then we have another one that we're looking to fund out of 2022. On the capital expenditure list, which I know we'll get to, we have an item for silt trap for $10,000. That's not enough to cover a silt trap, so I'm not so sure that isn't to cover the engineering study. And so we kind of need to get this figured out, how we're going to pay for in the past, the Lakes Committee has covered the studies, the engineering studies, and then I believe operations and possibly capital paid for our folks to try and build the silt trap in some cases. So Sue, are you close enough to help me out? I can't see you.
Yeah, like you said, we've got the money for, from 2021 that's paying for the silt trap next to Blankenships at the north end. So that's in place, and now we have a cost estimate on that. And like you said, that amount you just talked about isn't enough to cover the building of that silt trap, but we need to reprice that by having our maintenance guys look at it and see what it would.
Yeah, I saw the estimate, and that's kind of
so that's
crazy.
kind of where we are right at this minute. Now, I just left the amenities meeting, and I took our request for 2022 of 11,650 off of the list so that we can maybe work something out between the club and the committee. I have to talk to my committee and see if they would be willing to use some committee funds towards the second study, because we'd like to stay on track with our lakes enhancement plan of doing an engineering study a year until we get them done, all the coves around the big lake. So we can maybe work out this second study somehow.
So to make this clear, Jeff, do you know, so one of these studies is, I mean, it's like I say, it's been funded. I don't know, do we need to approve that since it's already been funded through amenities for
No.
2021?
No.
Okay. All right. So here's what I think needs to happen is we have that 10,000 in the capital budget for a silt trap, since it's only 10,000, I believe that the intent was that that was to be for the study. And so I think that I'd like to propose that we use that amount for the 2022 study, but then we need to have have maintenance look at the plans for the silt trap that we just got the design on, and give us a estimate on that. And then we need to go back and determine a way to fund that in 2022. And so the goal is to do these in stages. And so in 2021 we do a silt trap design for a certain cove. In 2022 we build the silt trap for that cove. In 2023 we do the dredging, or if the silt trap is built in time, we can do the dredging in 2022 in the winter. And then we just keep working that stair stepping away. So engineering study, silt trap, dredge, engineering study, silt trap, dredge, and just keep working down through the coves.
And are you talking
Um,
dredge, Rex, on the second cove where
on the
it's pretty
on the
mounded
well,
up there?
it's whatever cove that we have a silt trap. We don't want to dredge until we have a silt trap.
Okay, because there's minimal dredging, I think, in front of that Blankenships there that would need to be done. The
Okay.
big one is across the lake for the 2022 plan. So maybe
Well,
we don't attach
so
the dredging to that.
There's
yeah,
some
that could be.
dredging there. It's
It-
pretty shallow out. A little, not as bad as that cove we're talking about, but
We might want to just take a look at that then. Yeah.
it's only 6 inches of water out, maybe 20 foot. It could stand to be dredged.
So we do have for 2022 in the capital, we have for lakes, we have a 10,000 for silt trap, and then we have 50,000 for dredging. And we don't have enough money to build a silt trap itself. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to get this last study took the engineering firm about a year to do. And so I'd like to get the money to get going on the second study, because it might take another year to get that done. And then Sue and anybody on the committee will figure out, let's figure out what it's going to cost to if we can build that silt trap in-house, what that's going to cost and how that fits into the budget. And maybe we move some dollars if we have to, and we don't get any dredging done. We don't use that 50,000 for dredging in 22. We use it for a silt pond, and then work our way back through moving forward. But I don't want to slow down the study, and so.
Rex, are you proposing that we use 10,000 on the capital and then like partner on the 11,650?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. That would work.
Yes.
What about the 50K for the dredge?
Well, and then we need to work through that and see, is that can
mean,
we
you
do
wanna-
the silt trap out of operations as a maintenance project? Does that need to come out of capital? If it needs to come out of capital, then we probably can't dredge.
Yeah, but I think not to commit maintenance to doing anything right now until we get.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
But
Oh, I'm saying we need to study it. We can't commit to anything tonight. I just want to commit to getting the engineering company online.
right, but we need to go out and get a bid off of the drawings that they issued for that silt trap to contractors, because that's just an engineering estimate. And
That's correct. Yes.
it's just good for budgetary numbers, and that's it.
Yes.
So need to get real
Yeah.
numbers on that.
Yes. And on the dredging, if we decide we have the money for both. Yeah.
I guess where I'm going at it, so we had 60K allocated in 2022, and that number on the engineer's estimate was 69K. So if we can come in underneath that with real estimates, we could probably just build first silt pond next year.
That would be the goal.
right?
Yes.
I mean, when we put these
Yes.
numbers, we were just kind of throwing
Right.
numbers out
Yeah.
there.
These were numbers, we're just kind of holding places to kind of, you know, build up kind of the budget to go through the plan, right? But, you know, we still don't know what code number 2 is, right? We haven't identified any of that stuff. Have we?
As far as,
As far as like
The
what-
study.
the study, as far as where we're gonna go in, which ones need the most work.
That
you
w-
know.
It wasn't in the study. I think Sue's got one in mind
yeah,
and it's,
on this. That would be the next worst one, because these people are almost getting shut off. That's getting so full there. Many homes with boat docks. are
So
getting
you'll
shut
start at
off.
the north end and come
Yeah,
clockwise
yeah,
around.
Yeah, we're just gonna kind of come down and around. The worst one, next worst ones are all on the west side. These two on the east side have some small little ponds that somebody dug years ago that they kind of, the neighbors just take care of it. But it's not enough, and it's still, you know, you're still getting these closed off. Maintenance takes care of the one at the beach, and we have permission from ownership across the road to take care, to get over there and dig. So that might never have to have a trap, but it's when, and
Right.
these people have allowed us to get back in here. They built a driveway all the way down there up past the beach to get into that area, and maybe that's something we just clean out and don't do a silt trap.
So,
So there's options.
yeah, but so do we need to have the engineering company complete design for each one of these?
Yes, because
Yeah.
each one has its own unique hills and valleys, and you have
So
to
you're
have
looking
each
at-
one surveyed,
Yeah.
because each one of these has a different speed of water coming down into them. I mean, we were shocked to find the north end was on a 15-degree grade, and when that water, we wondered, why did that come in with such force? It looks so flat with a 15-degree grade in a 700-acre watershed
So,
that bams down at that north end.
yeah. No, I
And
understand.
so, yeah.
So the one that we got the plans for today
Mhm.
was for the one over Chip.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
for this first one
So
up
that
here.
one there. So what we want to do, I mean, how long before we get that one in? Because do we need to go through and just spend the money on the engineering and then whittle away
We
at
already
this
did
stuff?
that.
We
already
did
on
for
that
one of them.
Yeah,
We've
for that
got
one.
8 other ones to do.
Mhm.
Why don't we use that 60,000 to do what we can with the first step? And approve the 11,560.
To do the next code.
Are you saying build the silt trap with the 60K?
If we can,
Okay.
with the maintenance.
Like you said, you might be able to split it up a little bit between dredging
Yeah,
out
no.
that area and
But we need
building
this,
it.
we need the silt traps before we get into major dredging.
Right.
No, I understand it, but
So-
we also have, you know, potential of another $80,000-$90,000 of engineering.
Yeah.
Right, and then at 60K at the top, right, based on an estimate.
But that was part of a 10-year plan that Rex put out, so it wasn't like, boom,
Yeah.
gotta do it now.
No, I know,
So,
but,
okay.
but are we
Just
gonna
so
do the
everybody else out
engineering
there
and
in the
then
world
do
knows.
the construction and, you know, that next year, how, is that a sequence, Rex?
I think so.
Mhm.
Rick?
Yeah, get the studies. And
I didn't quite hear the end. But really
it's-
one thing, we're kind of getting ahead of the, I mean, we had a rough study by the Lakes Committee that I put together, but the plan is for once the Board of Trustees allows us to move forward to that project, we'll have a little more information and those folks will do a little tighter study of what we need to do in the future. So we're kind of getting over what's the term? We're getting ahead of our skis on this one, but we need to get the money approved to get an engineering study done on number 2. And then I think what we do is then I think by within a month or so, that committee will be formed and we let that Lakes Enhancement Committee, okay, here's what we have in place. We have an engineering study in place. We have one on the way. We have some money in the budget to do a silt trap and possibly some dredging. Let's go to work and build from there. So I think if we just make sure we get this silt trap on the way and then we let that committee get into it, and they need to work pretty quick, and as soon as we've got it going, but so we can get something done in 2022. But That's what I'd like to see is right now let's just get the silt trap and then let that committee come back with some recommendations on how best to move forward with the rest of it.
So I'm not getting ahead of anything here. I'm just trying.
No,
to
I understand. I'm just saying we all
understand
are. I get it.
Trying to
Yeah.
understand the sequence of it, so
Right.
so that I understand it, right? So we're gonna engineer one cove at a time and then install the silt trap, the following year, we'll say, right? So we're gonna go sequentially around. And then
Yes.
that's how-
Get the
Okay.
study done. So
Okay.
Yeah.
what we're saying, Sue, correct me if I'm wrong. We have study number one. Get the price on that. That'll come out of the 60,000. And then we're gonna start on study number two,
Mhm.
because it took us a year to get study number one.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's a good plan.
Yep.
Staggered approach.
And then this time next year, we'll fund study number 3 and fund silt trap number 2 and maybe dredge number 1. I mean, it's just going to be a year. It's going to be a year by year stair step process. And then moving back then in 4 or 5 years, we'll need to, whether we need to fund it or it comes out of operations is we'll need to go back and clean out the first silt trap because it'll be full and it's on and on until our children are running this management committee. It's never going to end.
No.
Jeff, did you send that on to Rick, or has he seen this yet? This
No,
engineering
it
study?
didn't. So,
But I mean, this came, what, Friday or something? The actual study?
oh, that I did, yes.
Give you any opinions on that?
Nope. But we haven't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so do we will make a motion to approve 10,000 on a capital and
Come up with the rest.
Sure. I'll make a motion to take 10,000. Take 10,000 out of capital to help fund the design for the next silt trap.
okay, we got a motion.
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
second.
Yes.
Rex, good?
Yes.
All right. So let's note that.
Thank
do
you
that.
very much.
Thank you very much for helping me out, Sue.
Thank you, Rex.
Hey, just a question on the engineering number. Does that include construction support?
Haven't read every detail of it, but it did last
I-
time. We did the
Well,
north
that's-
end.
I think it did. I think it did, Marty.
The engineer, construction support from the engineer.
I would think so. Or they came out when they did our other one.
Okay. Well, we
Rex,
have
do you
to
know
pay
for
any
sure?
more?
I don't know for sure. I read it earlier. And I think I believe it was $3,500 in there for inspection, but it might have been for something else.
Yeah,
So,
inspections is different than construction support.
yeah.
I'm just asking, we can move on.
I just went to the big number at the bottom.
Yeah, that's where I went. Last page.
All right, let's move on to golf course chemicals. I know
Okay.
nothing about these words.
I can't pronounce most of them. Photo fuel, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay, we received 2 bids, Nutrien and Target, the same 2 of the 3 that we received last year, but last year, the third bid was from Helena, and because they are through a vendor, there's a tiered structure of rebates and that kind of thing, otherwise their prices were sky high. So if we were spending $100,000 on chemicals, we'd get a great deal from Helena, but at $16,000, that's not the case. So between Nutrien and Target, Nutrien does not supply the profile grains 50/50 blue rye for the Ethiopier. Steve?
Yes, you're close.
Okay.
Good
So I trued up both bids. Added those numbers into the Nutrien bid, as we would essentially need to buy those from Target regardless.
No, sir.
And we ended up with an awfully close competition, $243 difference with Target with the lower bid, pre-tax $15,468.32, and after sales tax $16,589.77. So what I would like to do is get approval here tonight to spend $16,589.77.
I have additional before you do that.
Okay, go for it.
So first, and again, on the nutrient bid, the math's wrong. I called today, he's on vacation, so we couldn't get it straightened out. But what we're looking at now, I actually got Tim Lane coming back down. I'm gonna actually, Elmer's off now. Or will be next week. So I'm gonna actually get down, we're gonna pull from some soil profiles off the green.
Okay.
And get a little better handle on this, and to kind of put it as in simple terms, a lot of these products that we see that are listed here, they're only fertilizer for the fact of they impregnate the chemical that you're going to put on the ground, whether it's to control insects, weeds, or in some cases, fungus or some sort of disease. So I went down and I talked to Elmer and Rick here this afternoon. First of all, they have no issue with using the fluzinanam, which is the generic, which is considerably cheaper. It's $400 cheaper, and you're basically buying the same and getting one free as far as the packaging goes on it. She has no problem with using a generic product. But what we're looking at is actually taking, instead of buying fertilizer with the insecticide, fungicide, or something on here, and actually just purchasing those products as needed. And that way he can run those through the sprayer, and his timing and control will be better. And he's not applying fertilizer at a time when he doesn't need it to. When he applies these products attached to fertilizer, he either has to go out there and manually water them in, or we got to hope it rains before they'll work. If we spray them, they take immediate action on the weed or the fungus or whatever we have growing there.
So we need to buy a separate sprayer, right?
So we talked about that too. Ideally, it would be better if we had a smaller type sprayer that we could do greens and things with. They've got another machine that they can put it on. We're going to discuss another side by side here today, or it'd take a very small machine to actually do the green surfaces. But it's something we want to leave that door open on there.
So your suggestion is what then? We wait until
Hold.
next time around? Okay.
I mean, we have 15 days with Target's prices, and I don't care who we buy stuff from as long as it's the best deal for the club. But I did want to point out there was a miscalculation on the numbers on the nutrient side bid.
Okay.
It's actually only 11,890 when you use the fluazanam.
Oh, no, I backed that out of this. So I had actually gotten a hold of Lynn and said, okay, so that was
Okay.
there you go.
His 13,468 at the bottom is not correct. It's really only
Correct.
11,890.
Yeah, here it's showing 12.
No, that's good.
Okay.
So what's the availability of all this stuff?
Okay, so that's the second piece. So even in the world of fertilizer and pesticide, it is affected by COVID and distribution. For these products that we have here for the golf course, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. There really isn't the demand for a lot of this. Fungicides will be the toughest one to come by, and he's already got a small supply, I think, of fungicides. And I said we should inventory, see what we have. Tim will be down here as soon as I take the soil samples, so I'm going to guess first of the year, Tim will be back down here. We're going to walk the course again, walk the greens, and come up with a firm plan by hopefully end of the year, first week of the year.
Okay. And so I guess as long as we've got it by January 18th for the next board meeting, it is just barely over
Right.
the 15K. I mean, unless you manage to come up with a number under 15K.
Well, I
Then
think
we
the
can
number
approve
is
it
going to be considerably less than that
Okay.
if we go the way with just the product and apply it, and then buy commercially blended fertilizer at a lot cheaper price locally.
Okay.
So I think there's good things that we can make play and make.
Can we split things up so we buy, whatever's cheaper?
You're going to
Yeah,
have
that's
to,
what we did last
Target's
year.
going to have to do some, because the multitude of grass seed, we just don't handle it in inventory because there's a big loss in it. So Target is definitely the company to go with the seeding products and things like that. But at this point, we're not even 100% sure that we're going to stay with profile greens, or we may even do a different, once we get into the bluegrass, ryegrass mix, then there may even be something we have different there. And seeds are generally not hard to come by.
Actually, this
No,
would be two
but-
bids in one.
Yeah, but I
It'd be
mean,
less than 15 grand.
Yeah,
It's
wait.
gonna be two different, splitting it up.
there's still one thing up here that's. Right, you say it was like
Right,
500.
I mean,
Yeah, let's say it was $500 if we put it.
For Target.
from Target.
Yeah, for Target,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Fertilizer prices are taking those up. That's why those products with the chemical mist in, they're just so much higher than what they were last year. One nutrient, potassium, in fact, last year, commercially for agriculture is $300 a ton. It's now retailing for close to 900. It's COVID, supply and demand, and in getting the products moved around. So if we can eliminate that piece, we can probably do a better tailored job.
Okay, you don't have to put as much water down if you spray the.
Well, if you spray them now, then they're already wet. They're activated in the soil profile to where he doesn't have to be out there hand watering on the greens or
Wait for the
doing
rain.
something else.
Okay, so table this until.
Yeah, one last question. There was an issue before, whereas we had all those bulk stuff. Is this something that it's not gonna be sitting in shed for 6 months, or is it stuff that's going to be?
I can tell you this price structure here for Target, it says pricing's good for 15 days and it's cash now. I do know the Nutrien prices are set for whenever we need the products with a due date of June the 15th, 22. So the products are not going to be a problem, if they decide that that's the way the group wants to go. I don't care either way. I really don't.
No, I was just
I
saying.
want the golf course green and beautiful.
Yeah,
That's all I care
we
about.
questioned it before because we had a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
sitting around.
Some things we have to, because we don't know if he's going to get hit with disease or we get a run on insects, and we can't wait a week for something to get in
Great.
on some of that. So we have to have it on the shelf.
Okay.
And you also run the risk, and we ran into this last year, managed to negotiate our way out of it, saying, hey, we're giving both y'all a shot. Is that you're gonna, we tried to split it, and then you get charged for shipping. At least Target, I don't remember. We did end up splitting it, managed to talk our way out of the shipping, but everything's getting pricier too.
Fine with it. Let's
Okay.
move it.
Okay.
All right, next thing, discussion about buying a Kawasaki Mule to replace the Suzuki mini truck.
Okay, this one is front and back. So you've got one that is the original information I gave you back in September. That is for the two-door unit, shorter version, and that is $18,927.29. And then the Mule Pro FXT EPS, which is 2 rows worth of seating, 4 doors. Back seat folds down to lengthen the bed, which is the attractive part there. With that, the roof's going to be more spend more on doors, mention that kind of thing, are pretty well the same. But there we're looking at $24,656.05. I have had zero luck getting any response from Affordable, and there was one other one that I pulled out of the phone book. And get bids on back in September, October, and
Was that
no
asked?
response.
Ask.
That might have been.
Lancaster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Out in Dallas close.
All right, discussion.
Need for the 4 or the 2-row seating. I know it's going to give them another 2.5, 3 foot of cargo space when it's folded up.
Correct.
Is 2.5, 3 foot of cargo space worth another $6,000? I guess that's where we're really at. Do we have a need? Will we have a need where we need to haul their crew around at one time or not?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we will. Can we get around it without? Absolutely.
Well, I'm just thinking,
You know,
even if
the-
we bought a
the-
nice
the
UTV trailer.
preference is the 4-door unit, because again, you also get the extended bed space there, so the utility is going to be better. Probably more likely to use that than curtain. I other than that, I mean, you be experts in here. I don't. Big differences between them.
It's longer wheelbase.
Is a longer machine going to give them problems getting into places they want to with it?
Not for the size of these, apparently. Because they're used to that mini truck. This is basically what that's replacing. 2 seats, but a longer bed than certainly the 2-door. So
I don't know. I don't have an opinion. $6,000 difference. The only thing to have more space. Can we buy a trailer? Can they use a trailer if we got a good heavy dual axle trailer where they wouldn't have it all the time and be able to use it when they did need to haul stuff. And maybe less than $6,000. I haven't talked to Rick. We talked about a lot of stuff today, but that wasn't one of them.
And they're
We
gonna,
never
I
got
think
to
they
it.
can plow snow with this thing. Is
Yep.
it?
I want to know also. I don't know if the longer wheelbase helps you out with plowing.
Depends on the weight in the back.
Rick's recommendation and preference is the 4-door unit, but you know, $1,000 to $6,000, as you said.
Rex, what's your thoughts? Rex.
Yeah, I'm thinking, guys. It's
Can't smell the weight.
Oh, no, we lost you.
I
out
don't-
there.
But
I don't know anything about these things, but it does, it does make sense to have more room, and there are times when they could use those extra 2 seats. $6,000. I think it's worth it to have more utility for it. Now, I am a little concerned, and not that we haven't tried. I don't know what the board would say on not getting another bid, but I'm okay with the number here, and I'm okay with the purchase, but I don't want to run into a wall because we weren't able to get another bid.
Fair enough.
I mean, and I can keep trying after I get back, Rex. We've gotten delayed.
Well, and I'm not concerned about it because I think this is a good price. I'm asking. I don't know. Again, I just don't want to have to
I
take
think
it and
the
then have
nature
it.
of that industry right now, it's tough to get competitive bids, especially down here.
Yeah, it's almost a bad time to be buying one.
Yeah, I don't think better for a while, but people just don't want to give you a bid because they can't get units. So they just don't want to go into a
Yeah.
bid war. They can sell it regardless.
What's the delivery?
March or April at this point. Yesterday.
So does
I
that
say
mean,
we
like,
get it coming.
So
That's a bad attitude, Marty.
Well, yes.
it's definitely going to be a nice unit. A winch and a plow and
Heat in the cab.
yeah, having a cab on it, it can plow snow. Nice to get it before then, but it's not going to obviously happen. So, JJ, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I think to invest in it now, 6,000 pay for itself. If, depending on what they're gonna be hauling, or even if there's a time where they got the plow on it, they throw 4 guys in it, 3 guys jump out with shovels or something like that in certain spots. I mean, I think it's doable, although we really won't have 4 people in the snowstorm because they'll be in trucks.
Yeah.
So,
We ran out of people a little while ago.
so, I'm not worried about, Rick or Elmer getting 3 other guys and go joyride. Something that going to give the extra space when need be. And for some reason, if we have to haul people back, I would be fine with the 6,000.
I'd like to make a motion if that's okay.
Go ahead, Rick.
I would like to move that we purchase and I'm trying to scroll up here to get the right number, the Mule Pro FXT EPS for the price of $24,656 and 5 cents profit.
All right. We got a motion.
So moved.
Second.
He made it.
He's a second.
He's second.
He
He
made
made the motion. You second. You guys in favor?
No,
No, you're no.
just from the fiscal side of it. I'm not saying it's not, they don't deserve it. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just spending money for the membership. It's $6,000,
All right. Well,
but I'm good with that.
3-1. Look forward. We'll take it to the board.
Okay, and I will continue to, after I get back, try and call around and just go further out and see if we can get anybody to say anything.
Can you shoot emails out to these guys, and if they don't return the call or return the email, you have a record showing you're trying to get it from these people and they're not responding.
Yeah, I can do that.
Similar to a
That's a
no
good
bid.
point.
Just show a record of that.
Actually, I should have learned from that when you were doing the RFIDs, running around trying to get bids.
There it is.
Good point.
Show a record, that's all.
Are we gonna sell the Kawasaki mule? Or no, not
Mini
Kawasaki,
truck?
Mini truck, Suzuki mini truck.
Yes. Yeah, there.
Used to just go in an auction, sealed bid auction. I think you need that, Steve.
Negative.
I think, did you sell that other stuff?
No, I wouldn't, when we're kind of scattered on the comments on it, so I figured we'd wait for today and come up with,
All right, I was gonna say,
it's my general updates.
just get rid of it.
So, I mean, these are assets technically, and they are fully depreciated and they don't run. For all of Elmer's and Rick's effort, there was a golf cart and I remember, and an old fairway mower.
Golf cart. Yeah,
Can
we
we-
ought to be happy if somebody will take it home with them.
Can we-
It's pretty
can we-
rough.
Can we get a vote to either scrap them or do a sealed auction bid or, you know, whatever you guys think is the appropriate?
I've not
thing?
seen this equipment, so I don't know.
I have,
That's.
so.
Golf
Those figures,
carts.
I think that's where Marty was coming from on it.
Yeah.
Golf carts are worth more right now than they have been forever.
Does it
So if you could try to
Well,
sell
I
it.
mean, if you put
That
it
I
for a
don't
sealed
know.
bid and the bids don't come in,
Yeah, I say we put it out there and if it doesn't sell in a week, then we just scrap it.
I would hold off in the mini truck until we get this mule. and
Yeah,
put
yeah,
that
don't
up for
really
sale.
hit yet.
It still does serve a
duct tape and plow. on it,
Purpose.
and ready to go.
That thing would go anyways. All right, so
That's where we put the four guys on the hood with shovels.
what we do
There you go.
is just put it out like a need blast. We're accepting bids. They'll set the stuff outside. You can come view it. You got a week to make a sealed bid to the office of your purchase price. If it doesn't sell, we'll scrap it.
Okay.
Don't sell the old tar truck too?
The old what?
The old tar truck.
Does it make sense for us to get a price on or what we would get for scrapping it and make that a minimum bid or no?
No, I think.
Problem is, if it's got
Don't spend any
4
money on it.
inches of asphalt on the inside walls, you'll never be able to scrap it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
truck
the
you
truck.
would, golf
Yeah,
cart's
I
not,
mean,
I
the-
just-
For bid.
It's
The tank
fiberglass.
is good. You can't, the tank is the problem
Okay.
on the distributor. Let me look at it next time I'm down and, but yeah, that's, not sure what you do with that thing.
Okay. Yeah, we won't get it out to everybody until after I return. So
Okay.
okay.
All right. Talking about backhoes.
All right. Speaking of backhoes and fun getting bids, we managed to get 2. I am waiting on JCB. I did email them because that was the only way to actually get a response from them. And they have emailed back. They are putting the quote together. Said, oh, by the way, we've got a 2008 Caterpillar we want to trade in. And since then it's been crickets. So hopefully they're still putting the bid together. But for now, what we have, and this is not a request for expenditure, just an update. For now, what we have is the Caterpillar 420 ST backhoe. After the $32,000 trade-in, looking at $92,967.78 to spend. Compared with the, and they still do have 2 of these units in stock, by the way, that they customize for us and get them here pretty quick. Case, on the other hand, has a much heavier unit in stock, and we really don't want to do that to our roads. So they're looking at June or after, Marty, before those were to come in. June's what he told me. And on that, we're looking at 103,724. So it was just about $10,000 higher for the case. So in my mind, at least, the Caterpillar is currently the winner if we can't get a third bid.
Is there commonality in parts between this cat and the one?
According to Rick, yeah, quite a bit.
Okay.
The 2013, it's a 13, I think it is.
Correct.
I kind of think the backhoe technology probably hadn't changed in a lot of years.
They've got a depth on this.
And it'd be nice to be able to get parts from the same place.
Yeah, it's not the same stuff, right?
Something we did talk about with Rick today, and he only has just a small concern, is we were kind of due it before we were parting, is just this issue with the regen motors in them. You know, it would take him having to work with his crew and make sure that the machine is getting shut off and not sitting and running at idle speeds for periods of time and things like that. In lieu of that, I told him, I said, if you stop someplace and they got a equipment trader or something, pick one up and see if there's something out there 2 or 3 years pre the Gen X motors, and see if there was something, you know, reasonably we could put in there. It would really put us on a challenge. We'd have to sell outright the one we have to trade in. But I think if a dealer's offering us these values for it, they're planning on making money on it in a resale anyways. So I think those numbers are still pretty good shape. But and he's just looking at it for ease of working. You know, these next gen motors and stuff. You know, they can take the motor down now. They can change injectors. They can do this stuff. But with this new series, it's going to take it up to a different realm for him. So
Well, not only that, but you know, with the older one, you jump out of them, you have it running, you do what you got to do, you jump back in. This one, you probably have to shut it down. Now,
that's the biggest thing is idle times on
I'll
it.
jump back in. It's just, I don't think the technology is there unless we, you know, we have to train all the maintenance guys on how to do things differently. Or is there something out there that we can get that maybe a little bit old? I mean, I was all for, you know, getting the new one and working on just due to, you know, the other things such as hoses and things like that are deteriorating, and if a hose blows, you know, it's down. But hearing with the idle on this, it sort of concerns.
But, you know, I guess we're going to be there at some point, whether it's,
Oh, yeah.
whether it's
Right,
next
yeah.
year, or whether it's 3, 4,
Yeah,
5 years from now, it's
eventually.
time to replace the 2013.
Right.
Might give them a little more time to work out some bugs though.
No, yeah, I guess I just don't want to get held up dilly-dallying, if you will.
Well, no, but
Run
you're still,
home, try
you're
and
going to
find
wait
quotes
on
for
another
half a
bid,
year,
right?
So, yeah,
Yeah.
we're still waiting on the JCB.
And again, there may not be
Until the
anything
18th.
out there worth having. I don't know. You know, that's even more important. I think if we do go to this next gen, we'd want to make sure we get 3 to 5 years of extended warranty and service contract on it. So if there are problems with it, at least it's just going to be a lot for the old school guys to be able to dig into it and work on it with these new systems and computer controls and a lot of that stuff in it. Again, Rick needs to be comfortable with it, what he can do with it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Phone system update.
So, it seems like it's been going on for a year and a half. I haven't even been here that long.
It has.
It has. So we've got the security has their new phones, but not the new technology yet. Clubhouse is working off of the new phone. They are finally getting and maintenance has their new phone and the technology. They're finally getting ready to install, or I guess I should say, the latest install date for the lodge building is the 20th, is Monday. Which case, or at which time then they'll get security scheduled as the final. You almost think Frontier knows about this because we've had pickups with the 4187 line over the past couple
Do you
of weeks.
think
It's
that
very
looks a
weird.
little suspicious?
Very, very weird. But for now, the ghost is out of the machine, so we're working now.
And you have gained some useful knowledge on some of the terminals and things, I think, too.
Yeah.
What's this box for?
My problem is we trained on this new phone system back in April. And then they figured out they had to bore underground to get to the full area to run the phone line there. The good news is we'll be saving a decent amount of money. Better system with individual voicemails and that kind of thing once the system is done. It's the latest technology. It's VoIP, but phones are essentially leased for a 5 year. So
It also
we'll cover them.
We found with the VoIP after talking to another security company too, that opens up the improvement on our camera systems and things like that.
Good point.
It's now work that'll be ahead of that when we get to the point of replacing and updating cameras and that technology for security. So we would have had to update that, and it's coming with this new upgrade we're getting now. So
Point.
Training for food and beverage staff.
So JJ and I would like to recommend, Jeannie had actually suggested, and it is a good idea to get all of our front of house staff trained on responsible alcoholic beverage service. It's, I think it's Serve Safe is the one she was looking at. There's a few programs out there that are very good. So that you've got so that we've got a standard of accountability. We say they didn't have the training, as well as food handling for all of the front and back of house staff. Basically, anybody touching alcohol or around anybody that's consuming alcohol is going to take the alcohol class, and anybody and everybody will, either food and beverage operation at any time, is going to.
Make sure Jim gets signed up for that. But he is the best. Yeah, I mean, by
He's
his
the
own
best host.
admittance, he's the best host.
Yeah,
That's
but
expedited.
come January, do we have to hire him?
Probably so.
Yeah.
Annual salary of $1.
Or get them onto another committee. So anyhow, I just want to throw that out there. It's
It's a nominal.
It's
fee.
budgeted. It's we're looking at $100 a person at the most for both if they have to take both courses. Say it's
It needs to be
I'd say
done.
it's 80 and 60 if I'm not mistaken.
I think it'll give his credibility with the health department too, knowing that our
Oh, yeah.
people are trained. And
That's a big thing.
And Aaron has gotten through his continuing education, so his certificate is up to date for another 5 years.
All right, Rex, you got a capital depreciation Excel file in front of you?
I do.
All right, we're gonna talk about that.
All right, so not many changes since last time around. Rick and I did go through and we tweaked a few things. I'm looking at the depreciation list right now, by the way.
Thank you.
The one with green on it, Steve.
They're both green. Stop
I
it.
did move the chiller for the brewery or the rim pour to this next year, as we've spent $1,700 on it in repairs just in the past month and a half. It is an old unit. It is 30 plus years old from what I'm told. I think we purchased it used. It's not very efficient. We should have basically half the size unit in there that we have right now, physical size. And it's at some point, likely in 2022, it's going to be time to pull the trigger on that. The last thing that we want is to find out in the middle of the summer when we've got beer in the tank that the thing failed and it's 100 and whatever degrees in the brewery area, and it brings the beer up to where it'll just ruin $2,000 worth of beer. So.
Good point.
Okay, but not a lot of other changes other than that. There were some later on. I left the backhoe. I dropped down to 98,000 from the 125 that we had it at, because that's, even if the price increases a bit, that's a much more likely number once the trade in or outright sale is completed of that.
Maybe add another AED for the fitness center. I see 3 of them.
Yeah, that was not going to be our.
Disappoint.
I
That's
will
probably
do
our
that.
highest likelihood of needing one, maybe.
Yeah.
But if we're already buying 3 of them,
Jim, there's not a chance I'm going, so it's not me.
Okay. I really want to try one of those things out.
Yourself?
No, I see.
It won't
You get
shock.
a taser,
It won't shock if there's a viable
Mhm.
rhythm. So
What?
I said it won't do anything. It'll just not a viable rhythm. No shock.
Steve has no rhythm. See him dance.
You don't want to.
And the
You're
third-
not viable.
All right, come on now.
Sorry.
I am depreciating, but I'm not on the list.
All right, any other questions on the depreciation list before we move on to capital?
Not for me.
That we provided to the board in January for them to kind of look over. Same with capital.
And then CapEx, obviously, we've got some numbers to tweak there. As we pointed out before, these were a whole bunch of different placeholders. So we will get updated what we can. There was nothing. And Marty, that first one, the large electrical improvements, I guess I could technically roll off since it's paid for. That was what was already done this year.
Yeah.
The boring. Basketball court renovations and their move to next year. I'm sorry, we did add a golf course maintenance equipment lift. It's the Lancaster Country Club sold theirs before we got to them.
Real quick, with the basketball court renovations, in the amenities meeting, the tennis courts was looking at amenities to resurface the tennis court. I don't know if it's the same material we may want to use for the basketball court. So I'm just wondering if it's something that we can join two together. Better price. I mean, the coatings are similar too.
Yeah, that
I don't
basketball
know.
down there needs like a bring up whole bunch of asphalt and then some type of coating on top of it. But
Yeah, but
I
I'm
don't
just,
know, it's the same.
Which I think is the only reason we're looking at it in CapEx versus just doing getting the.
Rex wants to do an experimental road service thing.
Sure.
Can we do it on the
Yeah,
basketball, Rex?
no, sorry. Nope.
yeah,
Not enough traffic, huh?
I was just thinking if it
No.
worked, way that they could
Don't know.
work them both together and see what we get.
Do we need to make any changes? We got the 10 and the 5 on the lakes that we just started talking about here tonight.
Well, honestly, the silk control ponds, 10 grand is probably way under. I don't
We
think
need
it's
to
gonna
change the
cost.
description on it.
Well, is that
Yeah,
really-
so that was the one we decided we'd use that for the study.
yeah, silk
And,
control
and then
study.
And then the dredging, we just need to see, we may have to change that dredging amount to the pond itself. And slide the dredging to
Just,
22.
why not just combine the two and call it lake improvements? And
Well, yeah,
that we could just put a $60,000 lump in there.
But
Because it's
one
the
you're
same thing.
when you're working on a future year, one you're actually doing the physical work for the current
Right,
year.
but if you look through this, each year, there's 60,000 allocated for
Mhm.
those two items.
No, okay.
So,
You can do whatever you want. You want
we
to
can do
shorten
it
it
either way. I mean, it's just the totals.
You don't want to have to flip to the back page. Huh?
There you go.
Yes.
I like one. I
Well,
like one
lake
thing-
improvements, and then his plan outlines it.
Yeah.
And I think he'll
Yeah.
rework that to change what we
Okay.
come into tonight.
So
So,
we can adjust on the one line. So
yeah, we can shorten the list, right?
Okay. Any other questions that things we ought to? We really don't have good pricing on the golf course stuff, do we? Sort of kind of up in the air.
It is
Irrigation fee line pumps.
just something we got to work on first of the year.
I personally think
Well, yeah. Those two numbers.
We're going to see what we can do for the least amount of money, impact the amount of work the workers are doing, making some changes in the way that we're able to do some things,
you get
and
more wet
maybe
stuff on the
maybe get
stuff.
more bang for the buck by going that way. So that's where I've asked Elmer to kind of look into that with Rick's help and try to find places we can make adjustments to lower the labor cost or the labor time period to where they can have time doing the spraying, giving Elmer time to look. So I think we're okay with the number for now, unless we have some great epiphany or something, but I don't know what it is today.
Okay.
Greens, that's where we're starting.
All right. General updates.
The only thing there, other than the scrap sitting at the golf maintenance shop, is that the Porta Clean finally got here and removed it. 3 weeks late. We only paid 4 months ago the time we usually paid for. Got them out from the sun. Been here and frozen, and that would have been bad.
Okay. Lodge updates.
Oh.
I got nothing.
Peaceful silence.
If you want me just to go and not prompt me, I'm fine with
Nice.
that too. So we had our wine appetizer event, super successful on a night where we usually do about $500 in revenue, closer to 1,900. And introduced some people to some wines they hadn't tried before. There are, of course, several opinions of some new items that should go on the menu because we don't necessarily just do menu items on here. So we'll start working toward that as we roll toward a different season's menu. Reminder that the lodge is closed Christmas Eve for the chapel service and closed Christmas Day because it's Christmas Day. We'll be closed New Year's Day, and staff will be resting from the New Year's Eve party that we're putting together for New Year's Eve.
I have a little more information on that. The price point for the buffet, we're looking at $21.95. The exact buffet has yet to be set, but we'll get that out as soon as we can. We're looking at 2 seatings. The first one from 5 to 6:30. So those who want to just come grab a bite to eat and go home. Second seating is 7 to 8:30. DJ starts at 8 and plays until 12. Met with the amenities committee today. We're looking to try to get amenities money for events. Now, the amenities committee felt it was okay, but it has to go before the board. So we'll see what happens there. With that being said, we're requesting that the cost of the DJ comes out of the entertainment fund. Money that goes in and out of it. I can't track it down exactly what it does because it's inconsistent. It's on the profit loss on the lodge. We've shown 2,800 at times. We've shown 800 at times. Just requesting if the club could pay for the DJ in hopes of bringing in enough people to, cut the costs. I don't want to charge people for a DJ. I'd rather just have them pay for the buffet. Get here.
A lot of drinks.
I kind of wish we'd talked about that beforehand because I was anticipating if it wasn't getting covered that we would build that cost in along with the champagne toast.
Well, you really, we had talked about that. It's one of those things. Well, see what the price comes out to be. But, we just thought that maybe the club as a whole. If that doesn't work, then plan B is fine with me.
The entertainment expense line, there's nothing budgeted.
There was one sometimes back in September, there was something. There's a couple times when there was money there. It was last year.
Oh, sure.
Breakfast with Santa on the 18th. People should call Jeannie, right? 2 seatings there. And Dwayne also decided that he'd come back at 8:00 for an adult Santa. Whatever that means, I don't know.
Don't ask, don't
Yeah,
tell.
don't ask, don't tell. We're looking at trivia on January 20th. And one of the things I had talked to the amenities committee too is we're looking to try to bring the calendar back up. There is a calendar on the website, but it looks a little dormant at times. We're looking to possibly get more things on there. I know the Echo has a calendar, but if something happens between those times, it doesn't get on there. So we're looking at possibly getting a calendar that can be used through all the committees so that we don't overlap on different things that we want to do. And the last thing, bingo, we're working on bingo. That would, there's a lot of hoops we have to jump through for that. Ohio has a bingo license. We have to associate it with a charity. Charity has to be a 501c3 that is listed with the state. Their own website where it's charities that are good. We'd like to find some around here. Ones that people know. Stretch from Lancaster to Logan. Bremen had a couple. Maybe the emergency squads or something that service us. The other thing is I looked on Sugar Grove and there was nothing listed on Sugar Grove for a 501c3 that's set up with Bingo Charity.
Did you look up Geneva Hills?
No.
They do their own bingo in Lancaster. I don't know if they'll travel.
Well, this would give us the ability to do it ourselves. We would set up the games and things like
Gotcha.
that. You have to buy the cards.
I don't know if they would put their charity out there to. I know they do their own bingo.
Okay.
It's kind of enviant, where East Side Services and Mr. Froggy's, they got a bingo back. Someone to ask them if they would at least be the charity.
it'd be good to talk with them, and see how they do it too. Because there are, I mean, the thing is, it's not just have it that night, separate the money and move on. It's like a 3-page report that you have with this, what went to charity, what bought in, what went out. It's pretty intense. So, not to give Jeff more work, but we have to see.
All right, clubhouse updates.
No updates for the clubhouse, nothing. And then, well, and I guess let me say overall food and beverage, we are engaging with a potential food service manager, made an offer, contingent offer, it was accepted, and waiting for the drug and background.
She'll be good. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to bring up for the public?
I got two things.
Okay.
First off, Jim, thank you for your 6 years of service here
Thank
on
you,
the
Marty.
MC, even though I've only been able to see 2 of them, but good job. We appreciate it. And then second, I'd like to make a motion that we cancel the next meeting in between Christmas and New Year's.
I won't be here, so.
I guess that's a second.
That's a second.
I'm fine.
I'm
with
not gonna Zoom from Florida, so.
that. Yeah.
I would second
done
that
that,
in a
yeah.
heartbeat.
Steve, you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Rex.
All good with that.
Yeah.
I don't really want to take Jim off the hook, but I'm all good with it.
All right.
That's your Christmas present, Jim.
Anything else?
I'll echo Marty. Thank you for setting us up the way you did, Jim. It's, I don't think it would have been as fun 3 years ago as it was this last year and a half. So thank you.
Or when he started.
They came on at a good time, huh?
When the dam was broken, we were like, okay, what do we do now? Okay.
No, I echo that, Jim. I appreciate everything that you've done for us, what you've done for me, and just backing me off the ledge every once in a while. And then pushing me off the boat every once in a while. But that'd be Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, Bakers.
Merry Christmas
All
to you.
right. Let's go to executive. Everybody off with Mary Beth and Rex.